Welcome back, everybody. Some bizarre updates in the headlines. It is happening. Now, what is it? Well, of course, it's a play on words. It is the influence. It is the demon. It is the worldwide influence that's obviously now taken over the majority of humanity. It's the delusion. People are no longer acting the same as we remember 20 years ago. Technology has changed humanity, and truth is no longer truth. It's all relative. People are now given into their strong delusions, constructs, if you will, that are shaping their reality, constructs of illusion, stuck in a hall of mirrors. You see, AI has made it so that it is nearly impossible to find the truth for some people once they're deep in the construct. Instead, they're given a frame of reality that people buy into. We're to the point now where we have presidents and vice presidents openly cursing. We have flat out liars hiding behind artificial narratives controlled by the media. We even have a fake social media construct where winners are picked and chosen rather than earned. And it's to the point where the herd is always funneled into two controlled camps instead of learning to think for themselves independently. And when you get into a debate with someone, all you hear are talking points from their side of the aisle. There is no original thought anymore. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So here we are. What do we do? Well, fortunately, we are standing outside of all of these paradigms and constructs. We stand on the rock of Jesus Christ. And you might say, hey, Casey, that's another construct. No, because if you were to ask somebody what that means, it wouldn't be what you think it means. Right? Now, what is going on in these headlines? Well, Trump is now deflecting in the last 24 hours. He has now released the MLK files. We're going to cover that today. Also, Dushowitz, we call him, behind the scenes trying to strike his own cover up deal with Ghislaine Maxwell, saying that if we release her, we can get the truth. Also, we're going to cover this bizarre video, AI generated video that Trump just released on Truth Social, where he's sitting with Obama in the White House and they come in and arrest Obama. You guys, things are going off the rails. Imagine that. Imagine if you or I put up something like that. Oh, they would say, oh, that's a threat. You'd have armed men showing up at your door within 20 minutes. We also have Trump now threatening football teams to go back to their original names. And more MAGA gaslighting. Trump gaslighting his base, throwing them completely under the bus. And what else today? An incident right out of Final Destination. An MRI machine eats a man, literally, almost exactly like the Final Destination film that came out a couple months ago. We're going to cover that. And at the end of the show today, I'm going to show you guys my pesky armadillo under the deck playing frisbee with a piece of scrap rain gutter. Literally. And I'll give you a ranch update too for those that are interested. That'll be at the end of the show. Well, let's get into it today. Good morning, everybody. Apparently, Trump just released the MLK files. Let's take a look at this. This is insane, you guys. They just use these things as political pawns when they want. And it's obvious to anybody watching that Trump is simply trying to deflect and politicize the Epstein files. Now, why is he trying to politicize the Epstein files? Well, because it's all political. It's white versus black for the people at the top, isn't it? and they know that people are easily manipulated. So instead of releasing the files on the white guy, they're going to release the files on the black guy. Now, here's the problem with the MLK files. They've basically devolved into depicting MLK in a bad light. He had extramarital affairs and all these things. And this seems to be the core of all this. They're still not telling us who really killed him. They're still not telling us that they're going to indict people or that people are going to go to jail. And so this is more race baiting, in my opinion. Blacks are upset about this because they realize this is just basically a pawn being used to deflect instead of having this being released on more serious terms. The family's upset about this. They're saying they didn't want all this released about MLK. So let's read this. Nobody goes to jail, no arrest. It's the same. It's like chewing the same gum over and over again. Trump administration has released records of the FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr. So you see how it's focused on the surveillance of him, which of course he was doing some not so good stuff. I know that MLK was a Freemason and that all this was probably a setup, but this whole situation is being used to deflect and divide once again. Because if it was serious, then there would be people getting indicted and going to jail, right? The digital document dump includes more than 240,000 pages of records. Now, some of you may have already gone through some of this. I have not. I don't even think I'm going to take the time to do it. But if you find something, go ahead and send it to me. You can email it to me, kcbrown1973 at gmail.com, if you find anything of note. But here it is, you guys, and it's all about the surveillance. In a lengthy statement released Monday, King's two living children said their father's assassination has been a captivating public curiosity for decades, but the pair emphasized the personal nature of the matter, urging that these files must be viewed within their full historical context. The Kings got advance access to the records and had their own teams reviewing them. Those efforts continued even as the government granted public access. It was not immediately clear Monday whether the documents would show any new light on King's life, civil rights movement, or his murder. So this is what they do. Simply stirring the pot. I'll put a link to this story. Now, here's where things get interesting. Dushowitz, ex-Epstein lawyer, calls for release of additional Epstein materials. Now, this is funny because he's literally trying to reimagine history. Remember, it was Virginia Giuffre, who's now dead, or so they say, who accused Dushowitz of being involved in this whole thing. He was all over the flight logs, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And now he's like trying to play the hero. He says we should get all the information we can out of Ghislaine Maxwell because she knows everything. And in turn, we'll cut a deal with her. Well, of course, they're going to say this is the one way they can get her out of jail. This is unbelievable. As he plays good cop, bad cop in this whole scandal, pretending to want to know the truth and literally trying to get Ghislaine Maxwell released if she gives more details. Wow. Unbelievable. Now, let's see what they say in here about her. I don't want to read this whole thing because it's just drama. But that's the gist of it. We're not going to read this article. But that's what he's talking about. We're gonna work with Ghislaine Maxwell. Why didn't this happen 3 years ago? We needed to see all this, didn't we? Now, what is this about? Well, even though there is no honor among thieves, there's such a thing as who wants to go first, right? Because it's dangerous. You start spilling information, everyone's standing around going, well, I could spill some information. But when you come forward and spill the beans, better be sure that there are people that are serious about looking into the details. Otherwise, it could end your life, right? And still not result in anything being exposed or protecting yourself. And this is why this whole situation seems to be tightly controlled in terms of the truth and in terms of the flow of information. Like we discussed yesterday, if Ghislaine Maxwell was able to talk, she would have done it already to save herself from going to jail, wouldn't she have? She would have struck a deal before and we would have heard about this deal, right? But instead, we have the situation we have. Now, this story's actually kind of funny, and it's kind of not. President Trump calls for the commanders to go back to the old nickname, threatens to block DC stadium deal if they don't. Now, why is this funny? Well, it's funny because it's kind of petty, isn't it? But it's weird. Like, why double down on something like this, you might ask? Why would he threaten to block their stadium deal if they don't change their name back? Well, think about it. It's more division. It's more of the same, more of trying to get people to argue with each other about things like this, and also to strengthen whatever base he has left. And people can always say, well, at least he said he was going to block the deal so we could go back to the Redskins, right? Even though he probably never intends on doing this, but this is what people walk away with. It's a construct of reality. Trump says a lot of things that he never does or never follows through with. So, this is the latest on these sports teams. He even mentions the Cleveland Indians and a couple other teams that he wants to go back to the original name. Now, interestingly, I happen to agree with this. It's just the way he's doing it, the threats, the tyranny. You can't threaten people into anything. You know, we live in America, or supposedly, right? So, what is really going on here? Well, he's setting a precedent. The precedent is you don't do what I say, and we come and we ruin your life. That's the definition of tyranny. So, what else is going on in the world, you guys? Well, more ICE raids. Here's the ICE raid update. They're calling it whack-a-mole now. How Trump ICE raids knocked Los Angeles to its knees. So he's literally, Trump was doubling down on California. Now, it's interesting because we talked a little bit about this before this all went down. And remember in the very beginning, and like whenever these ICE raids started, didn't they start in like Texas first? And they didn't start in California. And I remember telling you guys, you know, until they go to California and start going after illegals, and all this is for naught. Well, apparently this is what he did. Now they're just camped out in California. People are upset. They're like, what is happening here? We got the feds running around. We got people afraid to open their businesses. Now, again, this probably needed to happen, but there's no oversight with all this. Like I said, if you've been here for like 10 years or 8 years, you won't even know what it's like to go back to your country of origin. Okay. I've told you guys a story. Okay. My kid's mom was born in Guatemala. She is not a citizen. So what if they deported her? She wouldn't even know what to do. She hasn't been to Guatemala since she was 8 years old. So what does that mean? And then, that's my kid's mom. Like, is that okay? I don't think that's okay. There has to be a line somewhere. Also, a lot of these people came over under other administrations where they thought or were given the belief that they were supposed to be here. So, yes, there should be deportations, but where do we draw the line? And everything that's happening right now is pure chaos. They're not really going after the employers, but they're using all of the things all the technology they're bringing to bear, and it's all practice for the rest of us. They're not just going to send the Reaper drones home once this is all done. They're going to like, okay, cool. Now we have the right to fly Reaper drones over and do facial recognition on people in the middle of the night. You see the problem here? I hope you do. Because this is not going anywhere. They'll just pick a new group once this is all done, which this will never be done. This will go on forever. So what'll probably end up happening is they'll just say there's always an illegal problem and we're rooting them out. And this will go on for 20 years, right? And it'll be used as a cover to go after American citizens because it's in the chaos, right? So they can do this. They'll just say, oh, the Reaper drone was up there and had night vision and, was looking for illegals. And we just happened to find, this person that we couldn't find before that was on the run. And they'll start it with a story that makes everybody feel good, right? They'll say, oh, there's a missing girl and there's no other way we could have found her. But we used the Reaper drones because it was ice. We weren't trying to. And then we found the guy and the girl through facial recognition. And then they'll put it all over the news and she'll get reunited with their family and there'll be tears and crying, right? And then that's how they'll get us all to accept it. Next thing you know, you turn on your sprinklers on a no watering day and the Reaper drone picks up you watering on a non watering day and you get a fine for $250. You're going to be like, how did that happen? And who saw that? Oh, the Reaper picked you up. We have water detection software on those Reaper drones too. They can put whatever they want on these things. Now, this sounds silly, but this is going to be the truth. This will come all the way back to debt slavery. Now, Snowball and I were talking about this a little bit. I finally called him the other day. Let me go back into the chat. Let's flesh this out a little bit more. And once this digital blockchain and digital currency comes fully online, we're going to enter an era where there won't be a choice of what you're going to pay and what you're not going to pay. It'll simply be a digital ledger and your account will get hit. You'll be driving across country, for instance, and you're driving along and you get to your destination. All of a sudden, you look in your account and $600 is gone. You're like, what happened? Oh, 2 speeding tickets. Oh, we just take that right out of your account. It's all digital now. We can do that. These tolls. Oh, you went down a toll road. Boom, gone. This is how they're going to take people's property. This is why Trump passed this whole civil asset forfeiture during his first presidency. Because they knew that once everything goes digital, they'll be able to take your property when you don't pay your bills. If you don't believe me, it's already happening. This is why Trump is strengthening the rules on the school loans and garnishing people's wages on the school loans. It's not because they need the money. It's not because they need the few $1 billion in school loans. That's not why. They're doing it to set a precedent so they can go right into your account. And I believe that day is coming soon where the government will literally go right into your Bank of America account, for instance, and just take what they want. And if you don't have it, oh, okay, we're going to go assess your property. We're going to confiscate this and confiscate that. This is where it's all headed. And then we will be in a true tyrannical government. We're here now, but there are certain things you can do to protect yourself. But those days, that door is closing pretty fast. Now, Trump continues to gaslight his base. And this begs the question, are they setting this whole thing up for a Democrat to come in office next? This is one of the theories that we had, that they would just bring a Democrat in and that will be the final straw, because all this they're bringing to bear against the illegals and to the left. Well, have you ever played pickleball? When the ball goes to one side, it's got to come back to the other side, right? And so when it's the Democrats in power, who are they going to go after? All of us. This is why you don't choose sides, because these people are all in it together. They're simply cleaning house, aren't they? Trump calls those who want the Epstein files released, he's calling them troublemakers. Wow. Although President Trump ordered the Justice Department to request the release of more details in the probe of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, he claimed Saturday that the move may do little to quell outspoken criticism of his administration's handling of the case. President reiterated on social media that he asked the DOJ to release all grand jury testimony with respect to Epstein, subject only to court approval. Trump, however, lashed out against the loud voices who have called for transparency since the Justice Department and FBI issued their July 6 memo regarding their decision not to release any further files. Even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request. It will always be more, Trump said in his post. So there you go. If you had any questions. Now, Trump just posted a bizarre video of Obama getting arrested in the White House, and Trump's laughing, and it's almost as though it was like some kind of setup, like Obama didn't know. It's all AI generated. Let's take a look, you guys. I'm not going to play the music. Let's see here. See if this plays. Boy, here we go. Oh, wait. This isn't it. Let me play it on here. Here's Truth Social. We'll play it right from the source. Now, the funny thing is that Trump takes quotes from Obama himself, who said no one is above the law. I guess we can play the music. Let's see here.
No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is
Of course, Nancy Pelosi. Now, the irony here is Nancy Pelosi is now defending Trump, saying that the Epstein files are a distraction. It's pure chaos. This is like a three-ring circus, you guys.
above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
I don't even know if this music's okay to play. Probably just standard soundtrack music, but we're going to keep pausing it just in case.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
So, of course, these are all Democrats. This just solidifies the right-left paradigm. Now, of course, Trump is never going to arrest Obama, but the irony is that Trump hasn't arrested any Democrats. Someone came on to the post here, because I did leave a comment about this on the story, and I said that both sides are working together, and the proof is that Trump won't arrest any Democrats. And my comment had like 10 thumbs down and 1 thumbs up, because nobody gets it. And then someone came on and they're like, he did arrest some Democrats. And they basically listed about 5 Democrats that were arrested because of the immigration thing. They were like doing protests and stuff and standing in the way of the arrests. So that wasn't Trump arresting them. And it was a specific incident where they were interfering with an investigation. So, of course, they're going to get arrested. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. We're talking about the people he promised to arrest. We're talking about prominent politicians. And if the right left were real, they would be arresting each other, wouldn't they? But they never do. And there's the dead giveaway.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No
So this just goes on, and then let's just fast forward to this part. Oh, good. We can fast forward on this. Then he shows this clown Keck, which of course is Trump. He's the Keck frog. Unbelievable. Let's watch that. And then they show this AI generated video. I can't even play that, so let's turn the music off on that. That's a for sure copyright. And here comes the officers, the FBI. They cart Obama off. It's all AI generated. Now, the irony of this as well is that they could put anybody in these videos now. It's AI. It's the construct. It's it. And this is a problem. you guys. There's no oversight and no regulation on any of this. We now live in an era where we don't know what the truth is. There's Obama in jail, in a cell. This should send chills to anybody watching if you're awake at all. How they can just put together these AI generated videos that look completely real. So there's the video there now. We saw this going on in iPetGoat 2. There's an instance here in iPetGoat 2 where Obama looks very nervous and he's got like sweat or some kind of fluid dripping down his forehead as he's in the classroom. Now, the interesting thing about the classroom that he's in iPetGoat 2 is the camera pans out, doesn't it? And inside you see Obama through a window, almost like he's in a cell, jail cell. So you got to ask yourself, is all this happening right now? Who knows? Pretty crazy, right? Let's see if we can find this here. This is a winemaking video. Let's search iPetGoat 2 and see if we can. Let's find this on here. Okay. So this is iPetGoat 2, if you were wondering. Let's look at the part where it pans out and you see Obama sweating. It's a little bit bigger for you guys. They're in the classroom. The apple opens. It hits Obama's foot. Let's play this in slow motion so we can see any clues. 0.25. Okay, here we go. There's Obama. He's sweating after the apple hit his foot. Remember, we've identified this scene back here as the Holodomor Memorial about starvation in the Ukraine. Remember, there's a girl sitting on a circle in the memorial in Kiev, holding apples, holding roses, in a dress just like this one, sitting on a circle just like this. And this was all about a genocide that happened when Russia starved the Ukrainian people. And then in this scene, the apple rolls across the floor and hits Obama's foot. We identified that as another memorial, the golden calf, because Obama is standing on a penny or a coin here. There's a coin. And that's the same exact memorial that's also in Kiev. It's from the book, The Golden Calf. And in the book, he stands on a coin. Then we get the apple opening and the two come together. We get a lotus flower. Of course, Obama endorsed